Welcome to the Fieldnotes podcast, presented by Seaworthy Functional Medicine. Seaworthy exists to help you overcome your complex health challenges so you can be fully vital. Now, here's your host, Dr. Rob Downey.
What do we need to know about why food isn't enough? Today, we are so fortunate to be joined by Dr. Sarah Love, naturopathic doctor, who kind of like me in this space goes by Dr. Sarah. Dr. Sarah, thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So please correct me if I don't get your bio exactly right, but you're a naturopathic doctor, you're an outdoor athlete, you live with a clingy cat, and the spouse is really good with cast iron. And you've had some powerful observations that inform where you're at now around food isn't enough, which I'm looking forward to talking to you about. Also, a focus on tea. We'll talk about that. The gut and the nervous system. Is that accurate?
That is it in a nutshell.
It's often helpful, I think, to kind of start with people's sort of origin story, almost like so many folks in our space, there's some really compelling reason they got to where they care about what they care about. Should we start there for you?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Yeah. So not necessarily going all the way back to naturopathic school, though we could, but how'd you get to this space where this is your focus now? Was it kind of an evolution during your career as a naturopathic physician?
Absolutely. It's been an evolution. So I was a ICU pharmacy technician for many years and was definitely in the allopathic space working in intensive care and wanted to focus on how food could be medicine because I'd been hearing about it, but I just wanted to see it and see how we could better treat folks in the chronic disease space. So when I went to school, that's really where I focused was on nutrition and and then of course, this is 2010s and then the gut microbiome's taking off. And so I'm learning everything I can about that. So just working with that with patients. And then I noticed and I'm sure you've seen this too in your clinical practice over the last 5 years, post-pandemic, things have changed with people. I mean, we have all of this information and we're really using it correctly, especially in our space with functional medicine, naturopathic medicine, nutritional medicine, but folks just weren't getting better. I would have patients who would completely clean up their diets, do all of the right things, super compliant, and still have the same problems. And just kind of a light bulb went off with one of my patients. This has been a couple of years ago, high pressure finance job, just completely stressed out, goes on vacation once a year, goes hunting, unplugs, offline. He can eat all the junk food, no problems. And it's like, okay, something else is going on. We really need to focus on break time, stress time, and how, it's great that he'd cleaned up his diet, but it's clearly not enough if we're not addressing all of that. And what does that look like? Is that vagal nerve issues? Is that microbiome issues? Is it all the above? Is it taking break time? I mean, so just kind of that's kind of where the origin started for this current trajectory that I'm on.
Mm, great. Well, tell us more then. So what do people need to know about and our audience, who I thank for joining us. Many of them are stuck, anxious, pinned. I think that's why they tune in. So what do people need to know about we'll take the premise that, of course, whole food matters, but
Absolutely.
I had the same I shouldn't say that. I may have had a similar observation because I saw folks eating the right food and not getting better. And it's become a motif of the podcast that a lot of times there's a stuck point in sort of sympathetic overdrive or just digestion, immunity, and fertility software doesn't run when so what do folks need to know?
Yeah, great question. And this is something I am still working on developing because it's just been kind of a realization the last 2 years. And where am I going with this? So, what folks need to know is break time is important. And I also had another realization. So, back in the 70s and 80s, people would take their break time. They were smoking, but they were taking breaks. So, now that, people have stopped smoking, thankfully, people should not smoke. But with that, we've eliminated the cultural appropriate break time. So how do we bring that back? Folks are working from home. I mean, I don't know about you, Dr. Rob, but I could not make it in an office environment. It just doesn't work for me. But folks are working in office environments. So
Mhm.
how do we make that as healthy as an environment as possible? And with meeting schedules, especially with folks being remote, there are no break times built in. And how do we do that? Because break time's important. We're supposed to have it, but nobody's taking them. I mean, I read of things like 62% of people are reporting not taking break times. I think it's closer to 80%, especially when
Mhm.
it comes to office workers and remote workers. So how do we change that break time culture from, smoke breaks to tea breaks for me? Because that's where I'm at right now. And so we need to have a culture shift on that for sure. And then we need to schedule that. And I know sometimes people are hesitant to schedule, but the reality is I schedule everything. We have to schedule everything. And it's not a bad thing. It's not like I'm scheduling, you know, a meeting. I schedule walks outside. I schedule break time. I schedule lunchtime. And I don't, I think we should all be doing that. So I think that's kind
Mhm.
of the basic thing I would recommend for people is one, schedule your break time. Two, take it and be intentional about it. Break time is not a time to be thinking about what's next on your to-do list. It's not a time to be making a to-do list. It's a time to take a deep breath, go outside if you can. If you can't, look at a nice picture. You can't see the picture behind me, but it's intentionally done. It's beautiful trees in Central Oregon. But look at those things. That's great. Again, getting that parasympathetic nerve. It sounds like your audience knows quite a bit about that. So how do we relax? If you can't go outside, bring the outside in. So that's kind of baseline where I would talk with people and really just exercising your vagal nerve through intentional relaxation. And it doesn't take long.
Mm. Yeah, it sounds. And then what do you see then? Do people have a challenge falling through on that? Does the combination of scheduling, which is kind of a Western industrialized society type thing, with connecting with nature and slowing down, which I think of as more of a timeless truth, do you find them following through on that fusion? And if they don't, do you sort of have to challenge them around, hey,
Yeah.
until this happens, your
Hmm.
sort of vitality is pent up or dammed behind this bottleneck? How do you motivate them? How do you get them to not get them to follow through? I don't even want to use that language. How do you
Yeah.
invite them?
Right. It's hard. I mean, right. And again, you're seeing this too. It's hard because even though people are coming in and they don't necessarily want to take pills, and I respect that, but taking pills is pretty easy. But this is something, and I just keep having to tell them, it's like, if you're not going to be scheduling this, you're not going to improve. Like you said, your vitality will not improve. And people have lower vitality right now that I'm seeing, and they look healthy on paper, but just their vitality is down. It's like you're not going to feel better until you really take time for yourself. And I, of course, I acknowledge that they have challenges. Absolutely. Their work schedule is intense. Their KPIs, or whatever metrics their employers or their self businesses are requiring is intense. We're going into Q4. There's a lot of other external pressures and stressors out there that are intense. But I invite them as like 5 minutes a day. If you can start with just that, I mean, hopefully they're also going to the gym. Hopefully they're also going outside. But if they can do it and they can be intentional about it and they can schedule it, they start seeing benefits pretty quickly. So that's
Mhm.
always helpful too, is if you can see those benefits pretty quickly.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I really love the affirmative side of this. Just for our audience, if see what Dr. Sarah has to say about this, but closest I've come to trying to capture this for myself as well
Yeah.
is that it's almost like we're under the spell of busyness. And I would say sort of the spell of Western industrialized society, which is so mechanistic. We've forgotten the sort of universal truth that the fresh air and seeing the natural world and uh, being aware of the lives of birds, right?
Mhm.
The last songbird I met did not report to me that it cared one lick about political
No.
strife.
Right.
I invoked red poles last night at our dinner table just as a way to say, hey, the chickadees stick around, and now I'm going to start learning about red poles because they're here all winter too.
Oh, nice.
And and so I think the challenge is that folks are under a spell, are in sort of a torpor, right?
Mhm.
And so they kind of need to run the experiment and take the break,
Mhm.
and sort of I think it's like waking up. That's what it's like for me.
Yeah. Hmm. For sure.
That's what
Yeah,
they report,
absolutely.
and yeah, their health starts kicking in, and then it's
Hmm.
a time to say, see,
Right.
keep doing that.
Yeah. And of course, I'm, supporting in other ways as well, depending
Yeah,
on what their symptoms are. And again, I'm in Portland. It's gorgeous out. I don't have curtains on my back windows because I have trees.
yeah.
I I'm fortunate enough and I'm privileged enough to live where I live, and I can
Hmm.
pretty much go outside year round. And I do go outside year round unless there's ice. And
Hmm.
other people just don't have that. So again, getting creative with, do you need a nice picture on your wall or on your, computer screen? Not ideal, but on the wall is good. Do you need to listen to birds? Do you need apps or something? Yeah, getting creative with where they are.
Yeah. Well, for as we segue into tea for our audience that's in in cities or
Mhm.
one thing strongly worth noting, let's hear what Dr. Sarah has to say about this as well, because she has invoked it. But this was shown initially in hospitals just with that curtain, that privacy curtain where people come out of
Mhm.
surgery. When they put a scene of a mountain on
Right.
there, it improved post-op
Wow.
recoveries. And so the way we heal and the way we respond to the natural world has been extensively illuminated and investigated. But thankfully, uh, I don't like the term life hacks in general, but it's kind of appropriate here because when we put things into the software, the images of nature, the sounds of birds, see, we really we get a very, very, very similar benefit to the actual
Mhm.
thing. And then also cities have little sort of micro
Mhm.
environments of natural beauty or plants or a deck or
Mhm.
something like that. So just want everyone out there to know there's a path forward no matter
Mhm.
what.
There is. Yeah, it's funny you bring up the privacy curtains in the hospitals, but like dentist office for a long time have had posters on the ceilings, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
this has been
Yeah.
known for a while.
Yeah.
We need to incorporate it more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was so happy today that we're going to talk about tea, and I definitely want to talk about that next because I don't want to bury the lead. I saw on your
Mhm.
website that you're very deliberate about it. The tea
Mhm.
that you make is first and foremost, not an afterthought, which is so
Mhm.
interesting. And then I did think of this as a cozy time of year to talk about tea, but let's make sure and talk about tea all year long. And how did you arrive at tea besides the fact that it's part of a good break?
Oh my gosh, right? Yeah. So, a couple of things. One, it's definitely a part of a good break. And two, and we've kind of alluded to this already, when we're stressed, our guts just are not cooperating because our blood flow is elsewhere, right? We're not able to focus our blood flow where it needs to be when we're digesting. So, and stress does that, and being busy does that. And just like you said, our Western industrialized mechanistic culture does that. So, I noticed and this, I started this about 2, 3 years ago, that I was like, nothing's working on all of these patients. Something's got to give. And I'm like, I learned about herbal tea in school. I haven't played with it in 15 years. Let's go back to those basics. And plants are amazing. I love them. And figuring out, okay, what can we use? So I started just recommending commercially available ones. Especially nettle tea is one of my absolute favorites. It's such an amazing plant, ubiquitous everywhere, super healthy, and chock full of minerals, right? So folks started getting better. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. Okay. And then other folks started getting better. And I would tell it was like one of my success stories was a teenager who, and this was one case where not only did she feel bad with her guts, her blood labs were absolutely insane. Otherwise healthy 12-year-old neutropenic for no reasons. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with her. I was like, we just got to go nettle tea. So because she was so neutropenic, I actually took her out of school and had her homeschool for a while we were building her up with nettle tea. And she's like, this stuff tastes great. And I'm like, really? Like, like, okay, great.
Body intelligence.
I know. She started doing really well with it. So then I started recommending it to more patients. And then again, then I'm starting to really look at what's available commercially. And I kind of came up with my list of no ingredients. And this is where the intentionality comes in. So, again, having studied herbs in school, there was a lot of herbs because our patients are so sensitive that I didn't want them to have for a multitude of reasons, like whether those herbs might raise high blood pressure, and I'd already seen so many hypertensive patients, whether there were too many drug interactions associated with them, and I didn't want to deal with that, or whether they're just kind of other issues. So I've kind of, and of course, these no ingredients are in practically everything. Across allergies is the other big one. So I was like, well, you know what? I just got to start creating my own. So that's kind of where I started was I saw this need of good quality commercially or available teas that did not have these no ingredients that people with low vitality would be able to tolerate and then start improving. So my first one was Hug in a Mug. So that's my nettle tea with lemon balm, oat straw, and oh, why am I blank? Oh, lavender. So that's just kind of my non-sedating happy tea, a hug in a mug. And folks really respond well to that because you've got those nice nutrition with the herbs, and then especially the nettles has all that micronutrients, but then you've got that oat straw and that lemon balm, which just go right to the brain and make it just relaxed, soothing, able to deal with stress. And then of course the lavender for the nice aromatics. So that was kind of my first one where I started. Yeah.
You're making me thirsty, Dr. Sarah.
Oh, gonna have to get some. They are amazing. Hug in a Mug it's a good seller. It does really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard it on the podcast you checked out, but I've really learned to not bury the lead. And by that I mean when thought leaders are talking, I think it's important for people to know what it's like to relate with the person and how they work or their product.
Mhm.
Because it's how we serve. And I was intrigued to see you've got one that let's talk about your blend that
Yeah.
doesn't have caffeine,
None of them have
but
caffeine. They're all
but
caffeine
might have
free.
some of the benefits for people that want a
Yeah.
little either an
Oh
energy or
yeah.
cognitive
Uh-huh.
boost.
The clarity. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's going on there?
Yeah, clarity is a fun blend. So again, all of my blends are caffeine free. That's by intention because folks don't necessarily want caffeine. And again, herbal teas are my focus, not an afterthought. So with that, it's what I call my coffee substitute. So it's got the chicory, the dandelion, those are both roasted. So you get that nice roasted coffee, both look and texture and flavor. But then I've got lion mane mushroom in there, which can help with, it's kind of one of those medicinal mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
not the psychedelic, but the good ones, which can
Mm-hmm.
help with brain function and cognition. It's got the astragalus in there, which helps. And then just kind of ginger and orange peel just to kind of round out the blend, make
Oh
it
yeah.
flavorful and still just kind of nice and
Yeah.
happy. Yeah,
Oh
it's a nice
yeah.
robust blend. That's one of my favorites, actually.
Oh
That's my great
yeah.
3 o'clock one.
Oh, you remind me so much of my mentor before we
Yeah.
hit record today.
Mhm.
Uh, I remember I'll never forget meeting her because what you're talking about reminds me of something that's part and parcel of the naturopaths that I've revered, which is a love of the natural world, a
Mhm.
love of plants as our friends,
Mhm.
and then the creativity to put them together in combinations that are recipes, I guess is the right
Mhm.
thing
Yeah,
to say. And then there's something right when they come together.
there
Uh,
is. It's so much fun. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so when I met her, it was in her clinic in Hamilton, Montana.
Mhm.
We were part of an integrative clinic. I didn't know much about integrative medicine. This was back in 2005. And she had probably 500 amber bottles in the back of her clinic of
Yeah.
things that she had wildcrafted and extracted in
Mhm.
alcohol. And then she would put them together in specific combinations for people. And
Yeah,
that was a
I did
really,
think about going the tincture. I love tinctures as well, and
yeah.
they're great because you can also take them on the go. But I really wanted to go the tea route in the end, just because, again, that break time and that forces you to hold that warm
Hmm.
mug to get the steam, especially if you've got the lavender going. Not that you can't do them cold, they're all brilliant cold as well. But yes, it's going into wintertime.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about hot weather? What should people know about cold tea? Because I mean, the hot tea part's fairly I don't know. What should people know about hot and cold tea?
Yeah. I mean, great question. So obviously with the warm tea, you've got the nice warm mug, you're getting the steam. It's kind of a forced relaxation. You're not going to get that as much with the cold tea, but again, on a hot summer day, having something nice and cooling is still very healthy. You're still forcing yourself to kind of sit down, take a drink, and you're still getting all the nutritive value in it.
Hmm.
It's yeah, they just a different hot temperature.
Is it safe and okay for people to hydrate with cold tea? This is
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
I've
These
wondered
are,
about. Yeah,
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 because again, I'm very intentional creating these for folks that I'm assuming have low vitality because that's just
yeah,
what I'm seeing
yeah,
right now. And yes, they're going to be safe. Um,
yeah,
Now, obviously, I can't say whether they're safe in pregnancy or not because none of those have been
yeah,
studied. But I
yeah.
mean, the general public, I feel comfortable in recommending these for
Mm,
children, most of them. And we'll
hmm.
talk about, I'll talk with the parents about that before they do that. But
Yeah,
they're pretty, I mean, they're mostly food herbs like nettles or
yeah,
lavender or oat straw, things that you see in everyday
yeah,
kitchens,
yeah.
right? But
Awesome.
just in a format that makes it nice, easily absorbable.
Well, should we, is there anything you want to share about more about sort of the sympathetic nervous system or the gut that ties into this?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, your listeners know about the sympathetic nervous system, and really just getting that balance with the parasympathetic and the sympathetic is so important. And I don't think it's discussed enough in just daily life and, busyness culture. So really just being intentional about that. It's so important to take a break. It's so important to go outside for 30 minutes a day to, or whatever you can do. And for my folks that can't go out walking, I'm like, just go sit outside.
Hmm.
Just
Hmm.
anything you can do to relax your body so that you're going to start improving and feel better. And then eventually you can start going out for walks. You can do what you can,
Hmm.
but yeah,
Hmm.
folks are just, yeah, not doing well right now.
And anything more about how our gut impacts our health? Anything more you want to
Oh my
share
gosh,
there?
everything. Gut is everything. So yes, as we're talking about, I mean, that's where you're absorbing your nutrition. That's where your neurotransmitters are made. That's where so much is happening. It is truly a powerhouse. And if we're not taking care of our gut, either through rest and relaxation, through good nutrition, through basic, just good, healthy habits, your gut will take care of you if you take care of it.
Hmm. Hmm. Are there other aspects of your wisdom you want to share today that we didn't get to yet?
I mean, I call the way, like when patients come to me and I'm like, I practice stupid common sense medicine. I mean, it's just because that's what works. I mean,
Yeah,
if folks are
yeah.
wanting some other, trendy thing, I just,
Hmm.
I
Mm,
mean, it may work, but honestly,
hmm.
I found clinically, I'm sure you've seen this too, the stupid stuff works the best. And that is the going outside, the taking the breaks, and nutrition breaks is what I'm calling my tea breaks.
Mm,
Just
mm.
all of that, whatever you can do to
Yeah.
get that parasympathetic sympathetic tone equalized.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great message.
Oh, and vitamin D. I mean, we need that. I mean, that's non-negotiable.
Yeah, it's a great message. Well, I love today's talk because it's a small footprint in a really lovely way. I just read have you read Psalm for the Wild Bill?
No.
There's a book about this person in a, an alternate reality, right? So I guess what would it be? It's sci-fi. Um, but it's just so calm, it's so deliberate. And anyway, she lives in a world where there's these kind of robot AI type figures, and they just basically walked out on the job. They disappeared. And then the whole planet kind of goes green and sustainable, right? It's a moon. And anyway, so the character in two of these books is just out on the road. This character is a they them character, and their job is to talk to people and serve tea.
Love it. I'm gonna have to get
And
that book.
yeah, and then this robot shows up,
Mhm.
right? The first robot to be seen in however many years, and the robots do all these different things. So spoiler alert, fast forward here if you haven't read the book, but one of the things the robot shares is just, yeah, we choose to just be around for a certain period of time and then give our parts to be made into other robots so they can have an experience, and they could live forever, but they choose not to. Some of them will just like stare at a pond for years, or listen to birds. And there's a beauty in these small footprint messages, because sometimes people think, our audience will think, and it's time to say, no, this is the message. Last but not least, Sachin Patel says, polarize your audience, right? Take a stand for what you believe in and what has value. And then the people that benefit can resonate and lean in. And those that want to keep it unduly complicated, that's okay.
For sure.
Well, I really hope people check you out and try your teas. It was fun seeing the mountains on your website and seeing the blends. You might get sick of hearing people say that, but it looked like they were made with love. I mean, that's the feeling I got.
They are. They are made with love.
Yeah. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so my website is lichenleaf.com, lichenleaf.com. And then I'm also on Instagram at @lichenleaf. So yeah, again, nature, it's all about nature, bringing that together in a nice, easy format for folks to be able to enjoy on a daily basis. Take your breaks.
Fantastic. Yeah. Dr. Sarah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for the Seaworthy podcast. Seaworthy exists to help people overcome their health challenges and be fully vital. If you think we've earned it, please consider giving this podcast a like, subscribing, and giving us a 5-star rating on the platform of your choice. Thanks.